The Sports Wrap, George Ringer, welcome. Jeez, it quieted down in here, George.
It did.
Wow, I don't know what to do on a Monday when we don't have to work over the top of that raucous crowd here at the Muni in downtown Rainier, where I just found out, what did I just find out? That nobody's a stranger at the Muni?
Nobody's a stranger at the Muni. I've known a lot of that. I mean, there's some strange people at the Muni, but there's nobody stranger. So it's a great place. They're very friendly, and yeah, I like it here.
Yeah.
I've been coming about 30, 35 years now.
Well, I'm not close to that number, but yeah, it's a good place.
Yes.
You never know what's going to happen here.
No.
Where should we start?
Can we just run over some of the Olympic trial stuff right off the bat?
That is one thing that I don't have written down on my sheet of paper, so yeah, let's let her rip. It's almost July, so it's getting to be that time, and of course, lots of track and field, gymnastics, swimming in the last couple of weeks. It's been pretty nuts.
It really has, and there's been some real unique races and runners that are going out there. I think there have been a lot of surprises. There's been some young people that have kind of picked up the pace. The kid that took third in the 200 meters is 17 years old and a high school senior. I mean,
that blew me away.
I'd like him on my track team.
Yeah.
He is just incredible, and the old vets, they can hear those footsteps and they know it too. But this kid is really kind of amazing. There was also a lady named Sydney McLaughlin, and she ran the 400-meter hurdles, and she's running against Delilah Muhammad, who is defending champion. And all of a sudden, Sydney puts it down, and she shatters the world record by 26 hundredths of a second. And this is the best race of the 10-day event, and it probably was. And she blew this champion right off. She is 21 years old. She's very capable of a lot of things. She can ride a unicycle. She can juggle. She can juggle and ride a unicycle at the same time. This is a talented girl.
I saw a tweet or a post or something along the way when she broke the world's record the other day, that I believe these numbers aren't going to be close, so don't anybody, whatever. Not that anybody ever has when I say that. But the world record in the 400, straight 400, is like 47 seconds.
Yes.
She ran the hurdles in like 51 something.
51.9.
So a little bit more than 4 seconds, and she had to jump over, I think it's 10 hurdles along the way. So think about that, pretty amazing.
And I'll tell you, when you watch them, you think, geez, did they step over that hurdle or just kind of go through it? And it's just like the hurdle's still standing. They are so quick on that step. It's amazing.
I have to share this story with the women's 100 hurdles was on one of the nights last week. So Eli and I were sitting there, and I don't know what we were doing, screwing around, wrestling like we always seem to be doing, because that's what he likes to do when I'm sitting watching TV. And I told him, all right, we got to stop. I said, you got to watch this race. So the women took off, and they started over those hurdles, and he was just like this. Are they running over them or through them? And I'm like, over them. How do they do that?
Yeah, exactly.
It was just kind of like, he was amazed. And then they showed the race, a couple of times, and then they showed a little bit in replay, and he's like, they are going over the top of them. And
They are going
over the top. It was pretty cool to see a 6-year-old his first hurdle race. Yeah, it was cool.
Well, and considering the track down there yesterday was 106 degrees on the track, they had to postpone the running events during the day, but they did run the men's 5,000 meters in the morning. And that was an incredible race. They have Paul Shalemo, Grant Fisher, and a guy named Woody Kincaid, and they were 13:26, 13:27, and 13:27, 13.
Not bad
they
for
were
5K.
that close, and that was your 3 winners. And Paul Chalemo is a remarkable runner, and I watched a runner aggressively run against his opponents It was not full contact, 5,000 meters, but it was close.
Okay.
And you know, so he doesn't, you know, he doesn't even mess with that. And then you go down to the high jump. Well, I go to the high jump, and you have this guy named Vaughn Harrison. Okay, he's from Alabama, I think, but anyway, Louisiana State. And so he wins the long jump, and then he goes and wins the high jump.
Wow.
Now, nobody has been a two-stroker like that. Jim Thorpe, 1912.
Wow.
So this does not happen all the time, and
That is impressive.
they showed a video of him slam dunking a basketball, taking off at the free throw line, and just climbing ever higher. And these are pros and college people watching him do this and going, whoa. But he turned into a world-class jumper.
I hate to say this way. 7.6.5 win is nice. It's nice, but that's not great. That's not great. You know what I mean?
No.
I don't know what it's going to do at the Olympics. How good 7.6.5 is, but you know, maybe 7.6.5 was a bad day. I don't know. You just know you got to get close to 8 feet to win it. That's the big thing. But it sounds like the way you're talking, he can go that far.
Well, and he did 27.9.5
Not
in
too
the
bad.
long jump,
That's-
which is not too bad. That's in the hunt. He won both events at the NCAA's in Eugene a month ago. So he's capable of doing this, and there's no two ways about it. They asked, here, going back to Chalimo, they said down here, I wanted it a bit hotter. He's from Ethiopia originally. I want it a little bit hotter. I know that if I'm a little bit hotter, it's going to be quite a bit more hotter for the rest of them. So he was down there. Then it's Aaron Knighton. He's the 17-year-old that, I tell you what, I mean, Noah Lyles is really a fantastic sprinter. One of the best this country's ever seen. I can't believe that nobody knows about him. And this young kid was right on his toes. It was an incredible race.
Okay.
And it's you know, so I'm looking forward to this.
Here's how I'll put it to you, George. This is how poor I'm getting. Oh, whatever. I want the women's 200 was followed almost immediately by the men's 200, right?
Yeah.
I seen the women's 200. I did not see the men's 200. That's called sleep. That's called sleep. I don't know why. It just happens that way. But anyway, it kind of hilarious because I couldn't believe I missed the men's 200, but I did. That's how it goes.
Well,
So,
no, then we're good. Anyway, we have 16 people from Minnesota that are going to be participating in the Tokyo Games, and that's not that far away. That's 3 weeks away.
3+ weeks away,
23rd of August, 23rd of July to 8th of August, and then I flipped over and I couldn't help it, but I watched the girls' gymnastics and Simone Biles. Oh. When she's not on the mat, she's up in the air. She gets so incredibly high. She's just a little bit of a young lady. She's not very big.
What did you gather from last night? Because we're taping this on Monday.
Yeah.
What did you gather with last night's? How do I put it? Her bobbles, her less than perfection, because that's all we're expecting.
Well,
because the tears were flowing pretty heavily last night.
She fell off the beam, and she does not fall off the beam. The coach had his look in his eye like,
What the
the
heck?
world is coming to an end.
Well, and I believe she had a little bobble on the uneven bars as well, and it was kind of like, you know, she held on there, but it's just like.
She's such a perfectionist, I understand, that she really,
Yeah.
you know, and it's, but she is a vaulter mostly.
And the thing that I ask is this, the announcer was saying it was not a bad thing. Is it a good thing that she had these little bobbles before the Olympics to refocus herself and to get herself back to...
Well, and she stepped out on her floor exercise a couple of times, and these are, you know, I mean, hey, when I did my floor exercises, there were nothing like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, she was able to float so high and do these incredibly acrobatic moves, you know, and there was no doubt she's the best that they have. Whether or not she's the greatest gymnast that have ever lived, she still has some road to cover there, but it wouldn't be hard to convince me.
Oh, I think we'll probably know in a month.
I think
whether
will
she's
too.
going to get to that point or not.
Yes, I agree. Anyway, I don't think I have anything more from. Anyways, Simone Biles. Sarah Lee, Jordan Childs, these are all our three of our gymnasts from around
there
here.
you go. So,
Anyway,
yeah, good stuff. I can't wait for the Olympics to get started. And
I'm not sure there should be any, but they're going to be there, so I will watch.
The TVs will be there, and how many fans will be there is still maybe yet to be determined fully, but we'll see what happens.
Yes.
So, where should we go next?
How about the NBA?
He wants to talk NBA.
Yeah.
Sure. What do you want to talk? What's caught your fancy with the NBA?
Well, I'll tell you, I really like this Atlanta Hawks team, and I really like Trae Young, and he's an excellent basketball player, and he really can be a game changer, but he's got a bad pin.
Yeah.
And he went out in the third period after he went out and got retaped and came back in. He scored 3 points, and he wound up with 32 on the game, so there's no way that he's 100%. And in my humble estimation, there's no way the Hawks can win without him.
I would say that would be like the Bulls winning without Jordan.
Well,
I put
it really would.
I put it into that same category.
And also, Chris Middleton had the game of his life.
Yeah, nice fourth quarter. He outscored the whole Atlanta Hawks team in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he had 4 threes and consecutive. And the fourth quarter, boy, talk about break a team's back.
Yeah.
And they were coming from behind. And what they win, they wound up with 11 point win.
Yeah.
And but Middleton really kind of took over. And
Giannis was there in the first half, and then it was the Middleton show as we mentioned in the fourth quarter. So.
Well, and I think Giannis, he is such an offensive machine that. Sometimes you question whether just where his defense is at, though. And
how about his free throw shooting?
And not to mention free throw shooting. So
that's a story, a whole nother animal.
Yeah. Anyway, in the NBA tonight, the Suns and the Clippers are going to go at 8 o'clock, and I will be watching that.
I'm going to say this, and I've been wrong lots lately, but I'm going to say it this way, because we're going to talk about the NHL soon, and we'll be reminded of how wrong I actually am. But I'm going to say this Suns-Clippers series, it goes 7 games.
Yeah, I think
the Clippers are not going to go away. This is something, and I know
they've been waiting this for decades. Since their beginning, they've been waiting for this.
I know Kawhi isn't maybe going to be there, but the Clippers, Paul George throws them up. They win in Phoenix tonight. I believe they win on Wednesday at home. And they'll send it back to Phoenix for Game 7, but the Suns will win it there. No, that's my prediction.
They're just really, really consistent, and again, they're doggedly after you, and they play good, strong defense, and they're coming hard. And I don't want to take anything away from Phoenix. They're a good basketball team.
Did we talk about this last week about the NBA having to be maybe happy or sad? We talked about this here. Because I talk lots of sports, folks, and to me, a Phoenix-Milwaukee finals is not probably what the NBA wants, but I think it's what I like I said. I probably have watched more NBA recently because LeBron James and some of these other teams are not in the mix. I feel more righteous or righter, or I don't know what the right word is.
Well,
I feel like it's coming full circle. It's coming back.
There's all these young guys coming up, and they're very, very excellent basketball players. And also, we've got guys coming from not only from Europe but from all over the world, and they want to be superstars just like the rest of them, and they're good. So, I think right now basketball, in terms of the NBA, and I don't know about the technical part, if they're playing better defense or better, but I find it a very entertaining game, and these guys can really play buckets.
Yeah, they can. The thing that I still think amazes me is the way they can shoot.
Yes.
Shoot off balance, shoot on the run, shoot
30, 35 feet.
It's kind of stunning.
Yes.
What they can do. Shall we move to the NHL? As long as we're talking about players coming from all around the world.
Got a game tonight, huh?
Got a game 1 tonight between Tampa Bay and Montreal, and I was just talking to one of the patrons before we went on, and he was asking what we were going to talk about, and I said, oh, we're going to talk about this, this, and this, and I mentioned the NHL, and he says, I'm pulling for Montreal, and I'm like, why? He says, because Tampa Bay won it last year, so why not? Why? I don't want to see somebody repeat. I want somebody else to win. And I thought that was pretty good rationale, because nothing against Canada, but I thought I'd probably vote for the team from the States. But
I probably would too, but like Montreal, when was the last time they won this thing? 93?
yeah, 28 years.
That's getting to be a ways. And growing up, the haves were the haves, and you watched them play all the time, and you'd like to see Toronto win once in a while. We didn't have many teams, Boston and New York, so we were just as attached to Montreal or to Toronto as we were on this side before the expansions came. But no, I'm pulling for Montreal. I like a couple of their hockey players. Their goalie is really playing well, and I'd like to see him win.
Yeah, I think when the tournament started, the playoffs started, I did pick Tampa Bay to win it. So
yes,
I can't say that. Hey, it's kind of a 1 in 16. I hate to say it, yes. With a little education on it, I guess. But here's the strange thing: Vasilevsky, the goalie for Andrei Vasilevsky for Tampa, in the 3 clinching games, they've won 3 series now to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. All 3 of them shutouts.
Yes.
So how do you?
Well, I understand that, but like Cam Talbot got 2 out of his 3 wins were shutouts, and they wound up losing the series.
Yeah.
So, it might be that this is a 1-0 game and all the rest of that, but they also have Montreal has this young Caulfield who is just a machine gunner.
Yeah.
And I know that he's irritating everybody because the big guys want to drill him. And so they're trying to give him this message because he's a real rookie.
He's a real rookie.
And but he's Scooter. I haven't seen anything like this since our old Kirill the Thrill, and he's fun to watch. And also they have some good pros. They got like I say, solid defense, and they've pulled themselves up by their skate straps, so to speak. So I think the Habs should be. And I'll tell you, one time I was in Montreal and I went to their museum. Oh, talk about going to church for these guys. It was they just had all these wonderful pictures and where the Habs come from and how long they've been doing this stuff and whether any of them can speak English.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm still taking Tampa Bay in 6 games, even though I'll be cheering for Montreal to win.
You might pick them in 6, but this series is going to go 7.
Okay.
And we'll start off tonight, and it's Montreal.
So next week when we come back after the 4th of July, yeah.
Well, I've never picked anybody. I haven't picked anybody yet this year. I'm due.
He's due.
I'm due.
I like that. I'm due. Should we? You want to talk? Did you watch the Lynx possibly on Friday night?
No, but I heard about it and got the replay on the sports the next day.
Yeah. Nice win over Las Vegas.
It was a nice win.
Las Vegas, I'm going to say probably the 2nd best team in the WNBA behind Seattle, and so for the Lynx to get a win, it's a good win. They're playing better basketball.
They are.
Sylvia Fowles was monstrous, 30 points. What was it? 19 rebounds, I think.
It was.
4 steals, 4 assists, and 4 blocks. She's the first player in the NBA to have those numbers, those 5 stats combined together in the history, the 25 years. So that kind of tells you how big of a number she has to have. I think she's going to have to continue to have those numbers. And if she plays like that, there could be another title for the Lynx. I'm serious about that, because if she is that dominant against one of the top teams in the WNBA, other teams are going to have to focus on her and that's going to leave the guards open, and that is going to create all kinds of havoc.
No, I'm really looking forward to when playoffs start because this team's going to come up. And remember, what did they lose? First 6 games of the year?
First four, and I think 5 out of the first 6 sounds right.
And so they, it's good to see them kind of turn around.
Yeah, and of course they're going to get a break for the Olympics, so they'll have almost a month off, and we'll see how everybody comes out of that. Of course, Sylvia will be playing in the Olympics, so we'll see if that causes issues going down the stretch.
They got 2 of them, and Collier's also, and
Yep.
hey, these kids get a chance to play in this Olympics. Remember in '92 when the big boys, from Shaquille O'Neal to Michael, the whole crew was there. Why? For an opportunity to play in the Olympics they wouldn't have otherwise had.
That's right.
And they didn't do it for the money.
No, they definitely did it to have that memory, to have that legend.
Yes.
And it always will be, for sure.
I think so, yeah.
How about the Loons? Did you watch the Loons late Saturday night?
But they're full of the paper today.
Yeah, a good win. To me, a great win by the Loons. They go out to Portland.
Yeah.
Always a tough place to play. Come away with a 1-0 win.
Didn't they start there earlier this year?
They did.
And they lost 4-0, maybe?
4-0 sounds right. And they scored their fastest goal ever in team history, like a minute 34 in, kind of unofficially. It's always in the second minute. But the thing about it is, they took that lead, and what has been hurting Minnesota for most of the year in their losses or their ties is that they've scored first, and then they can't hang on to it. So they hung on to a lead for 90 plus minutes. So to me, that's a great sign.
Well, and also judging from their lineup, they also they're making a good investment in the youth. And there's some young kids on this team, and sooner or later they're going. The commitment is there. They're going to come through. They came. Last year they went through the playoffs and did a really nice job, and
broke our hearts.
Yeah, I don't pretend to know that much about soccer, but
even the more interesting part of what I found out, I was kind of Saturday night. Me and you and I met to. We'll talk about that later. Why we met on Saturday night. Get your minds out of the gutter. We weren't at the bar. We weren't. Anyway, afterwards, I thought the Loons were supposed to start about 9:30. So 9 o'clock comes, no whatever. 9:30 comes, no Loons. They had to postpone or delay the start of the game because of the heat in Portland. So it didn't start till 10:30 our time. Wow. There's no way Tim's making it to 10:30 to watch the start of a soccer match. I did see the first goal, but I didn't make it that long. But anyway, a good win for the Loons. So.
Yeah, it was.
Shall we talk some baseball?
Let's talk a little baseball.
Start with the Twins.
Are they for real now?
I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you that next week, George, because they get to play #1 Chicago for a few games coming up here.
They got 7 games in the next 14 days with Chicago. They got 4 games with Detroit, and they got 3 games with KC. Now, if they want to pick up 12 and a half games out, if they want to pick up a number of these games, now is the time to do it. They do not get a break before the All-Star break.
Except for tonight, because they got rained out.
Because of tonight, they got rained out, yes. So I tell you, but I saw this ball hit from Nelson Cruz the other day. That was so high.
It's interesting because you talked about Nelson Cruz's home run. Somebody this morning talked to me about Josh Donaldson's home run.
But Big Nelly, that was a 3-run slammer, and he's carrying 42 RBIs. He's up in the top of that league, and including at least 41 years old, I think, today.
You know what the scary part about that number that you just said? Because I wouldn't have probably looked these stats up, but with my new position with doing sports on the radio, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He had 2 RBIs on Sunday. Gave him 66 RBI for the season so far. So when you talk about it, the 42 for Nelson Cruz, and Nelson's been hurt a few games, but to think about that, 66 RBI already, that's insane.
A lot of ribbies.
That's a ton of runs batted in, and he hit his 50th career home run the other day. He did it in his 258th game. Guess when his father hit his 50th home run? In his 258th game. So, just some weird
What are you
stats.
saying? Baseball spiritual? Maybe it is.
Who knows?
Yeah. Anyway, I always contended, where are they going to be at the All-Star break? Because
We've
that's
been
the
waiting.
tradition, and so we've got 14 days before that comes about, or 15 days. And at the end of that time, if they can clip away, if they can be down to 7.5 or 8.5 games out, that's only 3 games that they have to pick up, they have a shot. Other than that, they're going to start bailing people. And I kind of like the baseball team, except they keep on changing everybody all the time. But the injuries have just been incredible.
Yeah, the injuries have been tough. Buxton, we have to. I mean, when we taped this show last week, everything was good.
And he got hit.
And then that night, Monday night or Tuesday night, he gets hit with the pitch, and is going to miss another 40 games after he had just come back from missing approximately 40 games. And so it's a little.
Well, and on the head.
My Uncle Paul called him China Doll.
Yeah.
Because he's so fragile. It's a little bad luck. I get that. It's just he's having such a phenomenal. Can you believe he's in the top 3 in the in the All-Star outfield voting?
And he can't play.
And he's not going to get a chance to play. And it's just like, good grief. Yeah.
The other thing that was kind of interesting yesterday is Sab Hedges was the starting pitcher for Cleveland. And he's from Mounds View.
Okay.
And this was his first professional start, and he did it at Target Stadium, and the whole family was there, and all the relatives, and all the neighbors, and all the rest of that. And as celebration, the Twins hit him off for 3.5 runs in the first inning. So this was no mercy shown to the homecoming boy.
I did not hear about that, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
I was busy over the weekend. We'll talk about that coming up. Why I feel like I'm a little out of the loop on everything, but yeah, the Twins. It's good to see. Won 7 of their last 9.
They have.
And so Cleveland was in second place. So it's not like you're playing some slouch of a team.
No.
And like I said, we'll know a heck of a lot more. We'll see if George is prophetic with his All-Star.
No, but I tell you, I listened to Patrick Russi today talking about they're never going to win more than 75 games. This season's over. Blah 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 blah. But that's no reason not to play. Well, yeah. You're right, but I think the chances are that they're going to have more than 70. And keep in mind, the White Sox are not playing well these days, and Detroit and Kansas City. I know they can beat these teams if they're playing well.
Well, if they were to go 500 approximately from here,
yes,
that's where they would end up, is with about 75 wins, and we know that's not going to cut it. But 84 could get you into the playoffs.
Well, that division that we have is just tight. I mean, they're at the bottom of the list and they're 11.5 games out. Go take a look at some of those other divisions. They're a country mile out, and so they just already don't have enough games. So
did the NCAA make the right call with NC State and sending them packing because of their COVID issues?
Well, I can't see NC State. What do they wind up having, like 12 guys?
I didn't see the final number.
Yeah, but there weren't very many, and you still have to have 9, and it was the only thing to do.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the team because
they were playing so hot.
They really were.
That's why I was kind of torn by the whole.
Well, I watched
thought.
them when they had a reduced squad, and they were still hanging in the games, and I just thought, Jesus, these guys are tough. But when you have, 50% infection rate, it's time to take a break.
Vandy gets a chance to defend their title from 2019. They'll take on Mississippi State. Games start tonight, provided that the weather works. I'm telling you, I'm going Mississippi State to beat Vandy in 3 games. It'll take all 3 games. I think it's going to be a great series.
Well,
I just hope I get to watch a little bit.
You take a look at these 2 teams. I would say 2/3 of these guys are going to be playing in the majors, and the other ones are going to probably hang around in the minors for a long time.
Good.
But this Vanderbilt team is really a good baseball team, and Mississippi State, I was kind of surprised at them, but they seem to be pretty good too.
I just felt like it was going to be NC State, Mississippi State as kind of the destiny.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it was going to come down to those two teams. But like I said, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. And like I said, three games to get it decided. So, did you follow along with our boy Wyatt?
I have not. I was waiting for you.
Well, so last night after my busy weekend, we still got to talk about that. Uncle Paul gives me a phone call, and of course, busy all weekend, didn't really have a chance to talk with him. Anyway, I called him back, and one of our favorite activities while we're chatting on the phone is that while I have my phone out, I always have it on speakerphone, because he's like, hey, could you check out on the internet, blah, 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 because they said this on the radio, or they said this on the TV. Is this really true? So I'm ready to go. So while he was jibber jabbering, I'm like, I got to check, see how Wyatt did, because Wyatt's been moved to center field. Their center fielder got picked up by the Phillies, so he's been moved to center field. And so I'm trying to get the thing up, and I'm like, they won 12-8. Well, that's a good sign. They scored 12 runs. And I get over and I look down. He went 5 for 5.
Whoa!
Scored 4 times, had 2 RBI, and hit his first professional home run. How's that for a day?
I'm telling you, this guy is not done with his career yet. He's somebody has to take a look and say, whoa, what do we got here?
So what I didn't do, which I still think I will do, because they got an update, they don't ever play on a Monday with the schedule right now, but you don't listen to their announcer. Can you imagine what he said when Wyatt hit that home run? He had to have freaked out, because he's got his words, his statements, his way, lock it, rock it, lock it, cock it, restock it, whatever he says. I can't imagine what he said when Wyatt hit a home run, because Wyatt hasn't hit that many home runs in his career. So I would say this is a rarity. He also had a triple, by the way, which maybe is more difficult to hit for a lot of players than the home run. But his average now, 387.
You see, this was the deal, and they said this about Joe Mauer a long time ago. He's going to be a great home run hitter. And then somebody said, do you want to be a home run hitter, or do you want to be a hitter? And at that point in time, Joe Mauer became a Hall of Famer. And because he did become a hitter, and Wyatt is a hitter. He just is.
Yeah, so like I said, can't do much better than 5 for 5. That's a great night, and so like I said, I was just stunned what the kid does. I shouldn't be, but like I said, a 5 for 5 night. I don't care what level you're playing.
No.
I don't care what level. 5 for 5 is an incredible night. So.
Well, we could go many years with even a successful baseball program here, and not develop another Wyatt Ulrich. So this is, he's doing very well.
He just. What is it? Is it the eye? Is it the attitude? Is it the athleticism? Is it a combination of all of? I mean, it's just kind of wow, because I guess to me he's just Wyatt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a great kid with a great future out there in the business world somewhere. Whenever he decides that the dream is over, but he'll always be whatever. I mean, when I interviewed him last week for the radio, he said, "It's just great to be back on 104.1 again," and I'm just like. I mean, the kid's
He's a Falls boy.
He's a Falls boy.
Yeah, nothing you can do about that.
So,
anyway, as long as we're talking about him, I want to talk about another Falls boy. You kind of won't believe this one.
Okay. Well, you got me thinking here.
Yeah.
Well, where are you going with this one?
This is Falls High Class of 2001, Bjorn Johnson.
We're going to talk some jiu-jitsu.
We are going to talk. He lives in the Spokane area. He's not only a world-renowned baker. You should see this bread. But he's a real estate agent.
Hey, now for all we know about this world-renowned baker stuff,
Yeah.
he could be buying this bread at a store.
Yeah.
But Bjorn, because I've never tasted, I've never seen you bake this stuff myself.
See, I told you, Bjorn, you're going to get a spot. This is what you get.
Does he videotape this? Does he have it on YouTube with him kneading the bread?
I think he has in the past, but
Yeah,
boy, I'll tell you.
I'm giving you the
He
gas.
slice
Bjorn.
it down with 2 slices and then puts the slicing knife on top. Pretty good looking bread, I tell you. And I'm a bread freak, way
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah.
Anyway, he competed in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament and won a bronze medal.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, no, and so he's pretty proud of this, and they had a nice picture. He sent me a nice picture of the team. Maybe you probably got it too, but there was his jiu-jitsu team, and you know, and a picture of his dog and his bread. So, BJ, we love you, man. You keep on taking good care. Come back and see us once in a while. We'll have you on the show.
We'd have you on the show.
We don't have very many national bronze winners of jiu-jitsu here.
That is for sure.
And they'll keep running. This jiu-jitsu is submission holds, you know, which infers a certain amount of direct pain. And so it's, and you see like all these world champion fighters and all the rest of that, most of them know, at least if they're not expert in it, are pretty good at jiu-jitsu. So, you know, they can grab you by the toe and give it a wrench, and you ain't going to be walking for a while.
There you go.
So it's, so anyway, I wouldn't be part of anything that brutal, but who knows?
The Bjorn Johnson, there you go.
Bjorn Johnson.
Gotta like it.
Yeah.
Did you watch any Wimbledon today?
I did watch some Wimbledon today.
They got some play in today. They had about a 4.5-hour rain delay. I watched a
Wimbledon
little.
mix? Did you go to the Wimbledon mix? You have that?
I did not go to that.
Go to the Wimbledon mix. You can watch 4 of them at one time.
I got a tough time keeping track of one when all those tennis balls are flying around. I watched right before I taped my 720 Sports this morning. I put about 3 points on my phone, and then I turned it off. I had some stuff to do at the football stadium today, and I was working on that and getting through problems, and that's another story for another day, folks. But I got home and I had some other stuff to take care of, and I sat down about 3:15, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to turn the TV on. I wasn't going to, and I took a little siesta and had the tennis on in the background. It's great to see the green grass of Wimbledon.
Yeah, you like grass.
It's one of my favorite times of the year is Wimbledon, and of course they got Euro soccer going on at the same time, which I really haven't even followed because it just seems impossible to do. It's great stuff, of course, because many of the greatest world soccer players come from the teams in Europe, so you're getting to see some very good soccer, and they're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, so it'll be time maybe hopefully to watch a little bit coming up over the next couple of weeks. But Tsitsipas, who was Stefan, who was the runner-up at the French Open, he's out on day 1. There were a few other upsets along the way, so I was disappointed to see how quickly the baseline was already busted up. That even by tomorrow, after one day, the green grass is not going to look as pristine as it did this morning. It is always one of my favorite things just to see it before they ever play on it, just to look at the grass and the lines mowed in it, and it's yeah.
One of the things that I liked about the French Open is that when they were done playing, they looked like they had been through a rugby match. And you know, and that the clay is not only clay, but it's red clay, and it's just I've seen a couple of dives in those sweaty shirts, and they come up and you've been hit. You could be a bucket of paint right now. It's amazing stuff. But the green grass, Wimbledon. Do they save strawberries there too?
Still got strawberries and cream, baby.
Strawberries and cream, and a bunch of Englishmen that really like tennis.
I hope someday to get there. That's on the bucket list.
Yeah, you've talked about it quite often.
I will hopefully. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, they're just starting, so this will be picking up by the weekend. There's going to be some lip ripping matches.
Some good stuff coming up. Absolutely. Well, the Smoky Bear Invitational Golf Tournament was this weekend.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Wow.
I heard Mike Christensen did well.
Mike Christensen did just pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saturday morning, he goes off as about the 4th or 5th group. And one thing that I will say about the Christensen brothers is this: they keep things pretty low key. No high fives during the rounds. There's no, hey, I'm doing this good, or it's going this crappy. Everything is, it's going okay. It's okay. It's good. We're having fun. It's all that stuff. And then Mike comes in, and Mike won in 2015. He also won in 1996, to show you the span. And I was on the 18th fairway when he hit his second shot in, and he hit it like he's been a member there, because there's a bunker in the front of the 18th green, and it's sloped like this, and he hit right over the edge of the bunker, and it rolled down to within about 2 feet of the hole. And I'm just kind of like, God, just I'd like to do that once. Okay. So anyway, he puts it in, and he comes up the hill, and I'm sitting there watching. They go, well, Mike, how good was it? And he goes, 10 under.
10 under.
And I'm kind of like, did he say 10 under? And the buddy says, did you say 10 under? And I'm like, that's the perfect question. Did you say 10 under? And he said, it's 10. 62, ties the course record.
Yes.
Eric Wall shot it a couple years ago. Shot a 62, the best score ever in a Smokey Bear Invitational. So he puts himself out by 9 shots, a 9-shot lead after the first day, which I don't think I can ever remember a lead that large. I think I've seen 4 or 5 over the past few years. So he puts himself out 9 shots. Travis Blaze, 09 grad, shoots a 71. Justin Mayer, an 09 grad, shoots a 72. They're right in the pack. They're right there in the mix. And so they come back out on Sunday. Now you got to shoot from the blue tee. So now you're another 10, 12, maybe 15 yards back. And the course is a little bit different. What does Mike do? He shoots a 69. Not too bad. Next best score on Sunday in the second round, 75.
Ooh.
So he goes into the final 9 holes. He's up by 15 shots. 15 shots. So he goes par, and then he goes birdie, birdie, birdie. And he's up by 16 shots. He gets it to minus 17, and then he ends up taking 1 bogey. The last hole, he takes a bogey and gets a 5 on a putt that was in a tough spot on 9. So he ends up winning with a score of minus 16. Best score ever. 165 shots over the 2.5 rounds.
That's
and wins by 16 shots. His cousin Dave goes even. Travis Blaze ended up at +1. And it was a clinic of golf, of how to do it. And his dad, Buzz, lots of tears for the Christensen family this weekend. It was fun to watch. Even though the winner was decided, Dave and Travis put on a pretty good show for 2nd and 3rd place. It was just fun to watch, and we even had a lightning storm that delayed the middle of the final 9 holes by about 45 minutes. Kind of gave everybody a chance to reorganize and think about things, and so it was fun. Did the final 9 holes on the radio. It was a good time. I enjoyed the heck out of it. And the senior division, we got to see International Falls own Bob Mason win it again, 6th time in 7 years, 4th time in a row, and he beat Pat McBride, 72 years young. Pat McBride from Virginia.
Class of 67, I'm sorry, another guy.
There you go. And Pat goes out and nearly shoots his age. He shoots 75, 74. And the scary part was about that dang score was he's 2 shots up going into the last hole, the 36th hole. And Bob needs a miracle. Bob and Pat are golfing together. They're in the final group. Bob needs to beat him by 2 shots to force a playoff. And Bob gets the birdie, and Pat ended up bogeying the final hole to force the playoff. They play 9 again.
Ooh.
And Bob comes down and he gets the almost exact same putt that Pat missed to win it with a par. He missed it, and Bob had seen what the putt did, and he read it the right way, and he hit her pretty hard. If he missed, that ball goes way by, and Pat McBride's the winner, but it hit the back of the jar and dropped in. So Bob Mason wins the seniors So good time was had by all,
Yeah,
and
it seems to.
only one injury that I'm aware of, and hey, it happens on the dance floor. Things happen, and
Got full contact golf again.
well, it was just full contact dancing is what I heard, and so anyway. The next time, the July 9th and July 10th, 2022, the Smokey Bear comes back around. If you've never gone out, if you're local, even if you're not local, if you're around when the Smokey Bear goes on, it's just a heck of a good time. You get to see a lot of for me, old students, and you get a chance to banter and BS.
Some great Broncos in that
and
list
some great
that you just
Broncos,
mentioned,
and of course, it's kind of been the Christensen show lately, as they've won quite a bit. Glenn Walls has won 2 in there, but since 2013, your last name's either Christensen or it's Glenn Walls that have won the tournament.
Well,
so.
I know both Mike's mother and his father well, and if you say he's a class act, that was no accident.
Class act.
And so, good people.
Good people, good fun.
Yes, good fun.
Hey, you want to talk about Harris English?
I do.
Yeah, that was kind of fun to watch last night.
It was crazy. It went on and on and on and on.
Yeah,
and
wouldn't finish.
And you know, and then they, you know, and after the 18th hole or 8th hole, you'd say, "Oh, it's time," but that was tight the whole way.
8 playoff holes for the PGA Championship, for the Travelers Championship.
Yeah.
Okay, so we fill you in on what we're talking about. Tied for the second longest playoff.
1948, I think it was like
49, I think, or 40 or 49. 11 holes, and they finally said, "It's a tie. We're done. You guys can't do it." That's the way it looked like it was going last night. They kept parring the same hole over and over again, and finally a birdie came through, and Harris English wins on the 8th playoff hole. That's crazy.
Well, it is, considering there's 24 holes of golf, you know, at this point in time, physical factor.
Yeah. And it was getting late out there on the East Coast.
It was getting late, yeah.
It was getting to be heat. Not that they didn't have the sunlight enough, but it was starting to get dark, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So. What else you got?
I think that's about it from my side, outside of I really have to enunciate the fact that this Simone Biles is probably and could probably be the greatest gymnast that ever happened. Everybody should get a chance to watch this young lady go.
Yeah, and you know the thing about it is, it's tough. TV doesn't do it justice. I think that's the thing about it. But she's doing things, and it looks like she's making the mistakes. I was on her a little bit about what happened last night earlier. She's attempting things that other women gymnasts are not attempting, are not trying, not because they can't.
No.
Because she's in a different stratosphere. And so when she makes those mistakes, even when she makes the mistakes, the scores are still high, the scores are still great because of how difficult the things that she's doing. So it is.
Well, you know, and the other quote that I really kind of took a look at was Paul Ciulamo, and he says, I want to tell everybody the reason for sports is go hard the rest of your life. That's why I won this 5,000 meter. You go hard. He's from Ethiopia, came over. He's an Army veteran in this country. He's an American citizen. He came here and started his life, and he can really run.
And he can really run.
He can really run.
13:26. He ran over 3 miles.
Yeah.
That's cooking. That's going along. So.
Well, and the last lap was an incredible sprint.
Yeah.
I mean, just. Anyway.
Are we going to tell everybody about the show?
You want to talk about the show? Okay.
The floor is yours, because we've been teasing this for the last couple of weeks, and I think the people, most of the people that watch this show, I suppose some of them watch it for me, but most of our viewership is your buddies, and so they should know what craziness you've decided to start.
Well,
if they already don't know.
And I tell you, I got a partner here who knows everything about sports, but we're expanding, because that's the way Renaissance men are. We expand, and so we are going to. We are going to go live on Saturday night at 10 o'clock. This Saturday, hopefully we can.
On KGHS.
On KGHS.
12:30 a.m. 95.3 FM. I know you, and you can get it on the internet before anybody starts emailing or texting or whatever, you can't. Not yet can't get this, but hopefully in the future.
Yes.
But anyway, sorry to cut you off. George is going to go live at 10 o'clock on Saturday night for a...
What?
For a what? What are you going to do?
We are going to play the blues.
He's going to pay the blues?
We haven't played the blues in northern Minnesota for a long time. I've got two terrific sponsors. I've got the Rainier Muni, What Were They to Do, and the Growett Brothers Construction Company. That's all I need is two sponsors, two lovers of the blues. We are going to start. We'll give you 10, 12, 15 good tunes on Saturday, and
the stories is what I'm waiting for.
Oh, the stories.
The music will sell itself, but the stories that George is going to share with you, that to me is where we're going to get the stuff.
I can talk about South Chicago, huh?
Where the history lesson will come, because he's a history guy, as you guys all know, and it's sharing his knowledge of this stuff that is I hope that as I help him out for a few shows, and then I'm going to see if, I know he doesn't like maybe maybe by the time the snow flies, he'll be able to go in there on a Saturday night and do it all himself, and he can turn the lights down and get all bluesy and
put on my fedora
at a jaunty angle.
We could just really kind of
and talk about you Hepcats and have some fun. So it's going to be it's going to be very interesting. I think people are going to buy in, and the great thing I think about George, about the time you picked, you're going to be on right after the Ghost.
I will.
And so what you get with the Ghost on Saturday night on KGHS is you get these 70s, 80s, you get these 50-year-olds. We were there the other night, 20-year-olds listening. They're requesting music from the Ghost, and he's playing the stuff out there and doing whatever he is. And now we're going to see some of these young bucks, these 20 to 55-year-old people, they're going to get a lesson in the blues. And they're going to just say, hey, this is a nice crossover and seeing what comes
I've heard names tossed out in this saloon. Muddy Waters. You toss out Johnny Lang. They toss out any number of really good blues people, but blues is such an expansive type thing. There's a big difference between Ma Rainey and Stevie Ray Vaughan, but we're going to hear it all on this.
Well, and that to me, that's the thing, and I think people who study music, and I wish I have studied it more, but the blues obviously had an effect on rock and roll, and
British rock and roll.
We wouldn't have what we have without the blues. So I think George will take us down some roads that we have not traveled, and he'll take us for the ride and teach us some stuff along the way, and we'll hear some pretty good music as well.
Hey, if you guys listen, I'll be forever grateful.
Hey, it's going to be fun. I was kind of hoping, like I said, he's going 10 o'clock on Saturday nights. I was kind of hoping he was going to go like 10:30 in the morning on a Saturday when people are out driving around and whatever. But hey, you never know. Maybe he's going to have to do it 2 times a week or something, or whatever. Or maybe we have to record the show and we play it later on another time. Who knows? We'll see how it all goes.
Well, he has all kinds of ideas.
That's my new job. That's my new job is to get ideas and to have crazy ideas and make radio local so that local people will listen to local radio. That's what it's all about. That's what we're trying to get done more. Yeah. And so I got to go to work again on Thursday. Doggone it. That's how crazy it.
I'll tell you, my solarium is just barking with blues, and it has for 2 weeks. And so I had to do a couple of things with the sports stuff, but even that, I was playing the blues. So Hound Dog Taylor is alive and well.
4th of July this weekend, everybody get out there and enjoy it, but enjoy it safely.
Yes.
Go do it with loved ones. Good time to get together and do those family things.
Are you going to go on the boat parade?
We probably, and I don't think I'm going to have time to be in the boat. What time is it at?
5 o'clock.
Nope. No. I made a commitment to sell snow cones from 2 to 4:30 at the park on. So here, my 4th of July, get up and do whatever we do, and then I'm going to go do a little radio from noon to 2, for 95.3 out in the radio parking lot, and then when I get done at the radio station at 2 o'clock, just walk across the street, kitty corner, hopefully safely, where nobody will hit me, and go over and sell some snow cones to the kids, because I don't know if you looked at the temperatures, George, while we've been on, the Weather Channel's been on, 93 for Saturday, 89 for Sunday. How many snow cones are the Knights of Columbus going to sell?
Oh, lots.
There's lots and lots and lots of snow cones. So it'll be busy, it'll be great. But again, get out there. We're going to go out on the lake on the 3rd, I hope, and enjoy Party Cove, where we saw your son and his family last year on the 3rd of July, along with a lot of other people. I think going to kind of maybe become our July 3rd tradition, if we can, in the family.
There's going to be a lot of Old Falls people coming up here.
With the long weekend, with July 5th off, it's going to be great. It's going to be fun, and like I said, I hope everybody does it safely. I lost a cousin who it'll be 44 years ago on 4th of July, so that's why I always say safety first. Get out there and have a good time, but get out there and do it safely.
Take care, folks, and get your shots.
Thanks, everybody.